Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you might be joining us today. And welcome to you all, and hello to our listeners afterwards. My name is Dalia Bajis, and I'm delighted to join you today as a moderator on this webinar with an array of esteemed colleagues. The webinar is entitled Empowering Pharmaceutical Scientists and offering Curriculo's program titled Pharmacists for the Future program for career advancement. Welcome, everyone. As I already mentioned, my name is Dalia Bajis at FIP. I am FIP Senior Program Lead, and I will be the moderator for today's event. But before we proceed, I'm sharing with you a few FIP housekeeping announcements for your consideration. And these are that this webinar is being recorded and live streamed via YouTube. The recording will be available on our website, and you're welcome to watch the recording again at fip.events.fip.org. You may ask questions throughout the webinar using the question box provided, and we will be able to address those either during the webinar or during our panel discussion when we field the Q&A box. You're also welcome to provide us feedback by writing to webinars@fip.org. And finally, I must encourage you, if you're not yet a member of FIP, to consider becoming a member and availing of all of the FIP member benefits by finding out from our website and also through registration from fip.org/membership_registration. Welcome, everyone. So today's webinar is a specially curated webinar for our pharmaceutical scientists in particular, but also to all of those listening in from different sectors and different parts of the world. And the event really wants to provide our participants with an opportunity to find out about professional development in the area of leadership advancement. In particular, we will share with you a bit of an overview about the FIP provision program to set the scene, or to give you a background why we're even here from an FIP's point of view. And then we will also allow you an opportunity to find out more about FIP's Board of Pharmaceutical Sciences with a specific focus on a special interest group titled New Generation of Pharmaceutical Scientists, the NGPS. And then we will provide an opportunity for you to learn more about FIP Seal's program from Curriculo Solutions based in the UK, Pharmacists for the Future program, and how it might be relevant to you as a pharmaceutical scientist and your colleagues in the field. We will be supported by listening to testimonials from our colleagues that have participated in the PFP program. And we will also identify how FIP members may benefit from the program and the offer that's coming from Curriculo. So these are the objectives for today's webinar. And to mirror those, our agenda is as follows and presented on your screen. We will start off with welcomes and introductions, and we will move on to finding more about the provision program, then about the Board of Pharmaceutical Sciences, followed by a dive into the special interest group from PBS and how our members might benefit from the Pharmacists for the Future program. We will hear from Karen from Curriculo about the program, then move on to testimonials, and then we will open up for Q&A and a panel discussion before we close the webinar. Thank you, Hanadi. So I think it's quite appropriate for us in this session to provide our colleagues an overview of the FIP provision program, which is one of the FIP programs that in the Federation to really support our members with professional development endeavors across practice, science, and education. And we can only do this through quality and robust partnerships with our trusted partners and colleagues from around the world. Next, thank you. The FIP provision program, like many other programs at FIP, aligns with the overarching vision of FIP to advance pharmacy worldwide, and with our strategic objectives to support the pharmaceutical workforce development, as I said, across practice, science, and education around the world. Many of you on the call will be familiar with the FIP 21 development goals that provide a strategic direction to advancing pharmacy across these three areas, locally, regionally, and also globally. The provision program specifically links to 2 development goals, and these are development goal number 9 on continuing professional development strategies and development goal number 3 on quality assurance. The vision, the specific vision for the provision program is to support the advancement of pharmacy worldwide and to seek to ensure that our FIP members have access to the highest quality education, training, and expertise to deliver on FIP's vision and directly contributing to our vision of a world where everyone benefits from access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable medicines and pharmaceutical services. And the mission is to support the advancement of the pharmacy workforce worldwide by supporting our members with their needs and priorities related to professional development of their members and of the wider profession through partnerships. And we do this at FIP in a number of ways, but in the interest of time, this particular webinar, I am going just to provide you with 2 models in which we support this, this mission. The first model is whereby FIP grants reputable and quality courses and programs the FIP Seal or stamp logo to provide them with a visible sign that they've aligned with FIP's criteria for quality, but also that they're aligned with our mission to advance pharmacy worldwide, that they're actually with us on the same journey in advancing pharmacy worldwide together. And the second model is where FIP develops CPD programs and courses internally with support from our FIP volunteers and officers and trusted colleagues from around the world. So I thought it was appropriate for me just to provide these 2 models so that you're familiar with some of the main ways in which FIP provides you, our colleagues and our members, with quality professional development opportunities. But we only do that through partnerships with our trusted members and partners from around the world. And what you see on the screen is the FIP Seal, the logo that those programs will be awarded or granted in accordance with our criteria. And that's why we're hosting today one trusted partner, which is Curriculo Solutions, that has been awarded the FIP Seal for the Pharmacists for the Future program. And what you see on the screen is an opportunity for you, if you wish to scan the QR code, so you can access the FIP handbook for providers of programs to provide you with the background to the FIP Seal, but to also provide you with an opportunity to perhaps write back to me if you're interested in knowing more about the program. If you're a CPD provider yourself, and you have some courses and programs that are linked to the FIP development goals, you're very welcome to actually write to me to find out more about this process. And on the second or final slide, I think I provide you with some examples through the second model I mentioned earlier, where FIP internally develops courses to support our members with their needs and priorities for professional development in line with priorities that have stemmed from data. And the 3 examples on the slide are digital health and pharmacy with a focus on educators and practitioners, but we also have a specially tailored program for pharmacists in India on vaccination training. That's a relatively new course, but we also have a curriculum course on substandard and falsified medicines, and the 3 of them are currently hosted on FIP's learning platform. We call it FIPX. So this is just to provide you with bit of a background as to why we're all here in terms of from an FIP program point of view. And I thank you for your attention in those few moments. And I would like to now hand over without any further ado to our first speaker. However, if I can just have one more click, let me first introduce all of our panelists. So that we can have a seamless transition of speakers and topics as per our agenda. We are delighted to have with us our colleague, Dr. Rebecca Isaacson, who is a research fellow at the University College of London at the School of Pharmacy from the UK, accompanied by our trusted colleague and partner, Karen Glenn, who's the Director of Curriculo Solutions based in the UK. We also have with us our colleague, Safai Han, who is a lab head and associate professor from the China Pharmaceutical University in China. Welcome. And we also have with us Virginia Giolito, who is a postdoctoral researcher from the Université Catholique de Leuven in Belgium. In addition, we have with us Clement Hake, who is a pharmaceutical formulation scientist working at Population Council in the US. We also have with us Risan Cosas, who is an associate professor and also an associate to the dean at the Centro Escola University from the Philippines. Welcome. And finally, we also have Tabitha Muta, who is a PhD student at the University of South Australia in Australia at the moment. Welcome to all of our colleagues. I'm excited to have you with us. And now I can hand over to our first speaker, and also will be a panelist later on. Dr. Rebecca Isaacson, welcome, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dalia, for that introduction and for giving us all this overview of the FIP Provision Program. My name is Rebecca, and I am a researcher at UCL, but I'm also the FIP Scientific Secretary. And as such, I am part of the Board of Pharmaceutical Sciences. BPS was established on September 4 in 1970 with the goal to enhance promotion of pharmacy as an applied science. And in that spirit, today, one of the FIP's 5 main strategic objectives is to advance pharmaceutical sciences on a global level. BPS develops projects and initiatives to help FIP and its member organizations to achieve this very ambitious goal. And part of that work that we do is through our established 6 special interest groups, SIGs, which ensure that science remain at the core of pharmacy throughout FIP. So we have our 6 special interest groups that intersect with interests and focuses within the sections of FIP. We have new medicines, drug delivery and manufacturing, precision medicine, personalized and precision medicine, regulatory sciences and quality, pharmacy practice research, and also the new generation of pharmaceutical scientists. So the Special Interest Group NGPS was established in 2018 as a platform for international exchange among pharmaceutical scientists and pharmacy researchers. And we work and I was a part of NGPS before I became the scientific secretary. So NGPS works to enhance cross-disciplinary activities with non-pharmacy professions, to enable effective outreach activities to pharmaceutical sciences communities, and also to stimulate communication, networking, and collaboration with other FIP and non-FIP groups, but also to increase young researchers' contribution to global health. And this all fits in to the professional development part that is very much needed, and the workforce development that is very much needed and also within the one FIP structure where we have science, practice, and workforce and education all coming together to advance health worldwide. So without any further details, I would like to hand the word over to Karen, Glenn, and I will let you continue introducing yourself a bit more. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. If I could have my first slide, please. There we go. Thank you very much. And a very warm welcome from me. Very much appreciate the time you are taking to join us here today, and I very much hope to make this worth your while. Do you have a career plan? Do you have a personal development plan? And is it focused on your particular ambition? What I hope to do today is to share with you why the Curriculo PFP can help you to support your career and your ambition, regardless of where you are on that journey right now. Dalia mentioned the provisions and partnership framework, of which we are very privileged to be a part of. We, in fact, have two programs, two of the Curriculo learning programs have been approved through this system, the Pharmacists for the Future program and the Pharmacy Leadership program. Today, I just want to concentrate on the PFP program to tell you a little bit more about that and how I believe it can help you, whether you do or you do not currently yet have a career plan in place. As well as being FIP Seal approved, noting its relevance to pharmaceutical scientists and pharmacists, and also the quality of the training that we provide. We also have an approved position with the Institute of Leadership here in the UK. So what is this programme and what is it all about? The PFP programme is 5 modules of curated self-directed learning. Each of those modules is supported by a 1-hour online workshop. And broadly speaking, we aim to achieve these 4 pillars. We aim to improve your self-awareness, your self-reflection, clearly the self-development, and also looking very much at giving you a very strong foundation in leadership capability. Why are these important? Well, they're important simply because, as you know, great leaders have great self-awareness. We know that self-reflection and developing that practice can give us confidence and make us better at what we do. None of us are the finished article. We all need to always think about self-development. And really, this is part of the culture that we're trying to encourage of that, I guess, pure culture of personal development. And each of us taking responsibility for our own personal development to ensure that we make sure it's all covered. And of course, this is a programme that will provide you with strong leadership foundation to take things forward. Our vision is very simple in Curriculo. We aim to empower pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists through this learning programme. We've developed this unique, tailored programme in collaboration with academics and experienced practitioners. And you will hear from some people who have been through the programme very shortly, who themselves will give you their take on their journey of learning with Curriculo. We believe this programme helps to produce motivated, focused, and confident individuals who have a good handle on where they're going in their career and what they need to do in order to achieve that. But why is this programme different? This programme covers career management skills and leadership capability. It puts you in control, and it's different because it's an integrated and holistic approach to personal, social, and professional development. What do we mean by that? Well, from a personal point of view, we look to make you much more consciously aware of your own personal values, your strengths and your limitations, your likes and your dislikes. From a social perspective, we look to help you to understand more about your behavioural style and how that impacts both positively and negatively on other people. We will help you to understand professional networking and how to influence as well as how to contribute effectively in a team. And all of that learning we put into this professional development element. We will help you to contextualise the personal and the social in order that you can articulate and demonstrate. My apologies, my screen has changed. Are you able? Yes, here we go. Apologies for that. We are looking to help you to articulate and demonstrate the unique value that you will add to an employer, an investor, or a stakeholder in a way that is meaningful to them. So let's take a very broad look at the modules and what you would cover in this programme. End to end, this is a 12-week programme that involves you doing some self-directed learning as well as joining me online for a workshop that will contextualise and consolidate the theories and models that are discussed in each of the modules. In Module 1, we look at the science of team working, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail around that in just a minute or two. In Module 2, you will look at ambition, employers' views on things. We look at cultural awareness and the importance of that in leadership development. And we look at professional networking from the point of view of career management, as well as career development and skill development. In Module 2, you will learn the PI model, performance, image, and exposure. And we will help you to understand why managing those three elements can really help you to take control of your career aspirations and ambition. In Module 3, we look at effective communication, building skills around that. We look at models such as the Johari window, and we look at giving and receiving feedback and the importance of those elements of communication when we talk about leadership skills. During Module 3, you will also learn how to build a personal brand matrix and what that looks like. You will do that under 4 themes: the theme of integrity, loyalty, achievement, and self-development. We will help you to tease out your unique characteristics in a way that helps you to bring them together so that by the time you come to write a personal statement, pull together a CV for a particular role, or put an application in for a role, you have everything at your fingertips that will help you to achieve that. And it becomes part of your plan. In Module 4, we will help you to think about, consider preparing for, and then successfully executing the interviews that you might have along your career journey. What does it take to be successful? We will use some simple models such as the STAR model to help you to prepare, but we will go into quite a bit of detail beyond what you maybe already know about STAR. This is a sequential learning programme, and it builds module to module until it culminates in Module 5. And you will do 2 things in Module 5. The first thing you will do is you will start to look at where you want to be in 5 years' time. What is the organisation that you would like to work in 5 years? What skills do you need in order to be able to do the job in that organisation? What additional qualifications might you need? Who do you have to have in your network to help you to support that ambition? Once you have mapped that out with our guidance, you will then be tasked with writing your 5-year career plan based on that ambition. And if you have that clear focus on where you are looking to go and at what point you would like to achieve it, it allows you some time and space then to start to plan to address some of the gaps that you maybe have in your qualifications, some of the gaps you have in your experience, and some of the gaps you maybe have in terms of developing a leadership capability to support that. We will help you to do that and very much drive you towards producing this 5-year career plan based on 3 items. Additional experience you need, i.e. what jobs do you need to have done and what experience do you need to have under your belt in order to achieve where you want to get to in 5 years? What additional qualifications do you have to have? And thirdly, who do you need to have in your network in order for you to achieve that? Simple, really. So let me show you just a little bit about the information that you will learn in Module 1. We call Module 1 the science of team working. Have you ever wondered why you click with some people and you really clash with other folk? The science of team working and what you will learn with us will help you to understand why that happens and what you can do about it. We will help you to maximize your time working in teams, whether you are a team member or a team leader or leading the whole piece of work. We will help you to maximize that, thinking about your own behaviours and those of other people. And we will also help you to reduce the potential for conflict by understanding this much more succinctly. So what do we mean by all of this? So the science of team working, in this module, we will look at 8 different profiles of people, different behavioural styles that people have. And we all predominantly fit into 1 or 2 dominant profiles here, or even you might start to see yourself in each of the 8 profiles. We determine these profiles based on 2 criteria, 2 spectra, introversion and extroversion, and thinking and feeling. And we develop these 8 roles. For the purposes of today, I'm demonstrating just 4 here. But what you see is dependent on the position of your extroversion and whether or introversion, as well as the thinking and feeling, you will be predominantly one of these 8 profiles. However, the trick is not to know the title of this profile type. The trick is to understand the definition and what sits underneath this profile. What we aim to do is help you to understand why you work the way you work, why you behave as you do, and what it is that generates the great strengths in your profile and where some of the limitations of that profile sit. That's very important for you in your current position. It's important for, if you think about going back to one of the previous slides, we talked about developing a better self-awareness, a more conscious awareness of our skills and strengths. This starts that journey for you on this programme. It will help you to understand some of your behaviours, and it will help you to understand why you have those great relationships with some people and less good relationships with others. So what will you learn in this module? You will learn how to understand and recognise the characteristics of all 8 profiles. You will learn what your profile is, what the strengths in that profile are, and what the limitations are. You will also learn how to start to recognise whether someone is introverted and extroverted, whether they're focused on thinking or feeling, task-focused or people-focused. And we will then make a strong suggestion to you as a part of your leadership development that you start to look to how you can adapt your personal behaviours in order to connect better with other people. It's incumbent on us as leaders that we know and understand team strengths in order to maximise the impact of any team performance, be that short, medium or long-term outcomes. We will help you to build effective teams and effective team working. And as I mentioned earlier, we will also help you to reduce the potential for conflict. So that hopefully gives you a little bit of understanding of what you would expect to learn in Module 1 on its own. There is some other content here, but for the purposes of today, I'm not going to really discuss the content of some of the other modules. Suffice to say that it is of a similar quality and standard to that which I have just discussed. So what I'd like to do for the next few minutes, before I hand over to two individuals who are going to share specifically their feedback with us, I'd like to share what previous participants have said about the PFP programme. Genuine completed the programme with us in April last year. And as you can read here, he talks about his exciting journey of self-discovery and growth. He talked about how the course shrank down some complex concepts into bite-sized chunks that he then found very relatable. And of course, he endorses the programme. Ella talks about the programme being a game changer for her, particularly in Module 2 and 3. And Shirley talks about how she believed the programme has developed her self-awareness and her ability to network. So those are some of the content, my apologies, those are some of the details that we have in terms of what individual people have said. Overarching, we've had some brilliant headline results, and you can see that here. 100% of learners have reported an improvement in their self-awareness. 100% again say that they are much more able now to describe their skills and strengths in team working. Many of our, 90% of our participants say that they have a better understanding of how to manage performance, image and exposure as a consequence of Module 2. And we now know that people are much better and more prepared now to build their own professional network. You can see again, we see some fantastic results around how people have found building their own personal brand matrix, the use of the STAR model itself, and we have many individuals who have now reported on the back of this programme how to deliver their own ambition for themselves with a good plan focused on their particular journey. So I will come back to this later on after we've heard from our two participants coming up now. But I would encourage you, if any of what you've heard sounds interesting to you, I would very much encourage you to sign up, enroll in the programme within the next week in order to take advantage of the current offer that is in place until the 30th of April. You will be able to access all of this learning for only €33. As of the 30th of April, that price goes back up to still a very good price of €65. What you may or may not be aware of is this price has been negotiated by FIP. If you are not an FIP member, then the cost of accessing this learning is €250. Scan the QR code and get into the Curriculo website and enroll with us in order to take part of our programme and take advantage of this offer. I hope I've given you just a very small understanding of why this programme will be useful for you. If you do or you don't have a career plan or a PDP, if you need to sharpen it, if you need to start thinking about the next move for you in terms of your career and your ambition, then join us to sharpen the skills here and learn as part of this learning community. What I'd like to do now, with your permission, is I'd like to hand you over to one of our more recent participants, Raysan, and Raysan is going to give you his feedback from the PFP, being part of the PFP very recently, and then he will then hand over to Tabata, who will do exactly the same, and then we can take some questions for you. Okay, over to you, Raysan.
Okay, thank you, Karen. So I'm Raysan Cosas, a registered pharmacist from the Philippines, working as an assistant professor in the CEU School of Pharmacy. So one of the significant networking opportunities I had during the 81st FIP Congress when I won one of the Best Poster Awards from the FIP Board of Pharmaceutical Science in Brisbane, Australia, was being a cohort of learner in the Curriculo's Pharmacists for the Future program. With the help of my mentor, Karen, one of the directors from Curriculo Solutions, the program empowered me as a young pharmacist, building my leadership identity and skill base, enabling me to plan future with confidence and clarity, developing exemplary leadership skills based on best practice principles. The Pharmacists for the Future program was interesting because it was designed to help you realize your potential by preparing you for the pharmacy industry beyond your studies. As mentioned by Karen a while ago, in the program, we've looked into 5 modules. In addition to being self-directed, each module includes an online class and mentorship with our coach, who is Karen. We began by examining the science of teamwork and conducting an assessment of personal talents to match the individual goals with those of employers. We've also talked about the value of professional networking. We also talk about cultural sensitivity, business communication, and creating an employer-friendly personal brand. We also discuss how to market yourself during an interview, which improved my comprehension of the STAR model or STAR technique and the interview techniques. The last module completes the program's learning objective and assists you in developing a career plan that will act as a roadmap to help you reach your short, medium, and long-term professional objectives. My professional life have been significantly impacted since finishing the program with Karen. I've been able to apply individualized techniques and evidence-based procedures in my day-to-day job. I can make better judgments for my coworkers and myself at work and how to address the demands of stakeholders by utilizing best practices. In addition, the program has given me the communication abilities I need to take on leadership responsibilities in my pharmacy practice and work well with interdisciplinary teams. There is more to being a pharmacist than just a clinical expert. It's critical to gain knowledge of the corporate world and understand how to create a unique professional portfolio in order to differentiate yourself from the competitors. With that, I highly recommend and endorse Curriculo's Pharmacists for the Future program to aspiring young pharmacists who want to advance their careers and smoothly transfer from being a young professional to an expert young leader. Let me give the screen to one of my colleagues in the Curriculo's Pharmacists for the Future program. She's a PhD student from the University of South Australia, Tabata Muta.
Thank you, Hasan. Hi, everyone. I'm a pharmacist. My name is Tabata Muta. I'm a pharmacist and biochemist. I'm currently pursuing a PhD in Australia. I'm from Brazil, actually. I couldn't agree more with everything that Hasan has added about the program. I have been always keen in improving and enhancing my leadership skills. One of the reasons of pursuing my PhD is that now I'm part of the industry doctoral training program provided by the South Australian state government here in Adelaide. And well, I cannot agree more than what everything Karen and Hasan have said, but I would like to give you all an actual example of what happened in my career, and it's all because of this amazing program. So when a few weeks ago, I had the chance to talk with an amazing medtech entrepreneur. She came to my university for a symposium. and I had the chance to talk to her. And through the program, I had the chance also to learn and understand my leadership profile, but also to identify different kind of profiles. And each person, you will have to communicate in a different way, right? So after the program, I had the chance to talk to her. She's a company founder, CEO, more than 40 years of experience. And I had that one chance to talk to her, ask questions. And well, by understanding and identifying her profile, I changed the way I was talking to her. And well, it was just career transformative. I cannot thank enough for this program. I think if you have a chance to participate, you should. A PFP program is quite structured, well structured. You have a lot of templates where you can plan your career. Also, the visual aids makes everything easier for you to memorize and understand all the concepts. Well, and that's it. I think it also reinforced some of the strategies that I have been applying in my career. I believe in any point of your career, if you are undergrad, if you are a PhD student like me, you will definitely learn a lot. And I hope that the program will be for you all such an eye-opening as it was for me. And now I can see different pathways in my career that I haven't seen. I wasn't able to see it before. So thank you very much for the opportunity, for the program. And well, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Tabitha. Really wonderful insights there that you've shared with everybody. Can I please invite all of our guests here with us today to put their cameras on so that we can see you and that we could participate in a bit of a panel discussion here, but also to address some of the questions that have been shared with us through the Q&A, but also from our colleagues behind the scenes. Thank you so much, Rebecca, Karen, for really setting the scene for everybody. And the PFP really does sound like a great opportunity for early career pharmacists and to really improve on the leadership skills. But I think what really resonated with me tremendously, Karen, is the fact that it can support us with our career development. And I think a lot of us in our early career stages might struggle with that. And that really resonated with me quite a bit. And so I will probably ask a few questions, but before I go into any specific questions, I wanted, Rebecca, if you could support me in this segment to engage with our panelists. We have Virginia with us, we have Clement, and we also have Safai. And I would appreciate if we could hear from them as well before we tackle any of the questions. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. So having listened to this and also having reviewed the curricular program before, I echo what Dalia said, and this really is a great opportunity both for pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists to develop their career. I would actually like to begin by directing a question to Clement, because I know that he's also participated in this program. So it would be great to hear your thoughts and your views on the program as well.
Okay. Yes, so I think the program is very useful for pharmaceutical scientists because compared to many other professional development programs, this one is very integrated, and it, as Karen explained, it contains both personal, social, and professional development. And then there are many interesting modules to cover how to understand different roles, as Karen explained, identify our own strengths and limitations, and then, for example, developing the personal career plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Clement. I wanted to just direct a few practical questions we've gotten. So the first one is if this is a self-paced course or how the course is practically built up. If you could clarify that for us, Karen, that would be great.
Certainly. So the program we tend to run, it can be run in any way, but the program that we tend to run over a 12-week period, starting with an introductory session. We give everyone 2 weeks to complete each module, and at the end of a 2-week period, your commitment is 1 hour with us to come online, to discuss what you've learned and to apply that in your current position and also into your future thinking. So we can give you access just to the program, and you can forget about the workshops. We can do that, and you can run through that program at your own pace. Very much so, each of the modules you are given, we like to structure it. We believe we've tested it, we've piloted it by doing just the self-paced and the self-paced with the workshop, and the outcomes are better with the latter. So what we recommend is a 2-week period for participants to cover the self-directed learning. There's about 4 to 6 hours of self-directed learning in each of the modules, depending on your learning style and how quickly you pick things up. Okay, that will depend on how long it takes. But during that 2-week period, you can pick it up and put it down as often as you like, but we ask you to complete the module prior to coming onto the workshop so that you get the most from the workshop discussion itself. You hear from your colleagues and you get a little bit of coaching from me around that. We look at scenarios and we help you to just essentially develop what you have just learned in terms of theories and models into the kind of practical application of it. I hope that answers that question.
I think it does. Thank you, Karen. So I just wanted to direct just a little bit of a few questions, well, the same question to a few people, just to get an understanding of, so Tabata, how much professional development is part of your current education and your previous education?
Well, I have been trying to do it by my own through trial and error. So, but sometimes we don't have the luxury for error. Sometimes you meet such an audience, as I mentioned before, you have 1 minute maybe to talk to this person. And I think even though I'm part of this program provided by the state government and it's part of my scholarship, part of my PhD program, still it's a long process. It's through my whole PhD, and I guess through the PFP program, and in 12 weeks, as Karen mentioned, you just get all of these information, which is quite light. It's not heavy at all for us to gain all this amazing knowledge.
Great. Thank you. Ray-san, so in your education, how much professional development was part of your education, would you say?
Thank you for that, Rebecca. So during our sessions, it was a 12-week fruitful session, during which I liked the most was the online workshop we did with my colleagues together with Tabata and Karen. So we had a series of workshops wherein Karen did a lot of explaining. She also gave us like scenarios in which we could like determine how to act on those scenarios. And she also gave perfect examples on how to deal with certain problems in our workplaces and in our everyday life. So it was truly contributing to my professional work right now because I handle people in our university. I handle students. So the program really helped me to really look into the professional behaviors of my colleagues. So that's all.
Thank you, Ray-san. Saifei, hi. So Saifei and I were colleagues in the NGPS team for a long time. And I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on a program such as Curriculo with your experience from both Australia, but also from China.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I admire this program because I'm probably too old. When I did my studies, I didn't have the luck to enjoy such program. However, I have stayed in Australia for about 12 years, did my training as a pharmaceutical researcher, and currently I'm working in China Pharmaceutical University as a researcher. So during this time, I had a big culture, how to say, shift over the years. And then in this time, I really feel that's as two aspects that shown in Karen's slides is very important. Is one thing is to analyze yourself, just like the graph of showing are you a thinker, a feeler, or extrovert or introvert? And then it's really important to know yourself and then to analyze it so that when you are in your career, you find the good place for it. And the other side of it is not to analyze yourself, is to actually this helps you to know and learn, understand other people better. Because during my experience of staying in different places, different culture, I increasingly are feeling that the culture are different, and they are probably not good or bad. It's just the differences. At the very beginning, I may see something as weird, but then when you're actually seeing more and more and more things, you will feel nothing is weird. They are just different. And because the pharmaceutical scientists, as well as pharmaceutical practitioners, as pharmacists and clinical pharmacists, increasingly we are working together with global collaborators. We really do need to talk to different people, like not only the different people with different careers, but people also with different cultural backgrounds. And if I had the time, I had the chance to learn better with such program, I think I would have armed myself with better skills in my career. And currently I'm encouraging the students in our lab, because the curriculum is not taught in Chinese yet, but we are organizing some random of these training sessions for them. But I think personally I would be able to gain a lot from this curriculum program. That's my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Saifei. Karen, I'll let you in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for those comments, Safi. That's fantastic. And you know, I guess one of the comments I'd like to make, we're talking a lot here about people who are young in their career compared to people who are maybe a little bit more established. The truth is, the people that we get through the program is a real mix. The individuals that we have who are starting out in their career, who are looking to establish the skills, they maybe get from the same content, and because of the online discussion in terms of applying the theories and models, they get maybe one set of focus in terms of how to manage their career going forward and their leadership capability. Whereas maybe some other folk that are a little bit more established in their career, through the conversation, we'll get something a little bit different. So it is relevant for all individuals rather than just young people in their career. And I very much welcome the opportunity to work with maybe some of your guys at some point. It would be great to do so. I think the really important thing is that, you know, as with all learning programs, you get from it what you put into it. And, you know, some of the self-directed learning is really straightforward, but the conversation that comes on the back of the self-directed learning is where the difference is made. That's where we start to apply those concepts and models in a way that's meaningful for individuals in their current situation, and that they can take that experience forward, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Karen. It really resonates with me what you said there about this applying to any part of your career. You don't have to be early on. You can actually be more established in your career and still benefit from this. And I think that's really true also, because we can always learn. We are lifelong learners, especially as researchers and scientists. We're always learning new things. We're always reading more papers to get more knowledgeable about our field. And also we should perhaps also be more lifelong learners about how to manage our career. And I really like what you said, Saife, about as pharmaceutical scientists, we do have a global education and we have global collaborations, and a program like this could really help enabling those collaborations and helping us to understand different cultures and how to overcome those things. And I think that's really important. So thank you for those comments. Clement, would you like to tell us a bit more about sort of your background? How much professional development had you had before you joined the Curriculo program?
Yes, so I'm also a pharmacist by training, but I did a PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences. And during my pharmacy studies, I never had professional development much. I only tried to learn on my own. And during my PhD, I only had like small bit of training, but it was never as broad and integrating all the modules that this program contains. So I think that's why it was very useful to have this program to cover the whole range of modules needed to, for example, identify the strengths, limitation, and then build a career plan, train to prepare for interviews using the STAR model. I think it was very useful to have this program.
Thank you, Clement. So I want to direct a question to Virginia, and I know her voice is a bit sore today because she woke up with a little bit of a cold, but I would love if you could tell us a bit more about your career pathway and how professional development can fit into that or has fitted into that.
Yeah, thanks. So same as Clement said, I am pharmacist by training, but I also did then a master in biotechnology and a PhD. I moved directly to science. So similar to what Clement said, it was kind of difficult to get really this kind of knowledge during the PhD, because most of the courses that are giving about transferable skills are just things to do with your PhD journey, but not about the future or what we want to do afterwards. And I think that it's a really nice initiative, this one, because it can give you a more global idea of what you can do and what can be the best for you. Because I have the impression that another problem that we have right now is that we are getting more and more stressed with many things that are asked for us. And I guess that by learning what we can do and what we want can be a good way to really think ahead and think about ourselves in a more mindful way. That is kind of one of the main problems of science right now.
Karen, did you want to come in there?
Yes, thank you. You could tell, could you? Thank you. Really interesting comments, Virginia, and I resonate with all of that. Most people that we work with and people we come into contact with in our personal lives Everyone's pretty stressed just now, and you know, people are asking for more from less time, and we do have some decisions to make in terms of what we engage with and what we don't engage with. I guess one of my and I think this program can help you to give the confidence behind that. If you're clear about your direction of travel, then I think it can make you more confident to say yes and no at the appropriate times. And I think that's to be encouraged. The no as well as the yes are as important, I think, too. But I also think that there's a time and a place for all programs, and I guess it goes back to this notion of having a culture of personal development, of learning, a learning culture within an organisation. And I see it no more than I do working with you guys in FIP, which is amazing. I see that learning culture. But one of the things that I would love to ask, if we've still got time, one of the things I'd love to ask is what would stop people investing in training like this when you know that it's going to be beneficial? What would stop people doing it? Just as an open, if anyone, not so much a rhetorical question as interested in your views.
Clement, you raised your hand. Do you want to go?
Yes, so I think I've seen many similar program, and especially in the Western world, I think in Europe or in the US, it's usually quite expensive to have this kind of leadership program. But this curricular program is, I think, way more affordable and provide a very good introduction of professional development, especially also with the workshop, to be able to interact with fellow pharmaceutical scientists who are going through the same journey and get feedback from Karen. So I think it's very useful.
Thank you. So Faye, did you raise your hand or did I just imagine that? No, I imagined it.
I might come in as well, Rebecca, just
Yeah,
to,
absolutely. Go ahead.
I think that Karen raises a very good point, and I think that really it's quite worthwhile, like exploring or finding out what is it that might come in the way of people pursuing professional development opportunities in general, I think. Clement, you raise affordability as one factor or cost associated with it. But I also think time is one thing that people often, suggest that can be a hindrance to pursuing professional development. We lead and live very busy lives, personally and professionally, and we have demanding jobs, a lot of us. And I think time is one thing. But I think the reason I'm bringing up time, Karen, is I'm kind of just wondering, what would be your advice for people that would just kind of think, I just wish I could do it, but I just don't have the time. And I think that's also part of the things that you might even learn when you do embark upon a course like the one from Curriculo.
That's a brilliant question, Dalia. And I have my view on it, and others will have a different view. In that, I'd love to hear that. My advice would be simply, if you're young in your career, if you're thinking about making changes to your career, then you need to think about investment. And that's not just about money, it is, of course, about your time. And with that in mind, a small tip that someone once gave me many years ago at some point was, if something's important, then you need to ring fence the time. So if your career is important to you, then it should become part of your weekly plan. So if you ring fence time in your diary on a weekly basis, whether it's to do this program or whether it's to do some other learning, whatever that might be, then that becomes important. So, often human nature means that we will put off things that probably are more important to us. We'll end up putting these things off, and they go to the bottom of the pile of all the other to-do things that are on our list. But I would really honestly encourage everyone from an investment point of view to ring fence learning time, personal learning time into the diary, and don't let it go. Don't let it go. It's your investment, it's your career, and I think it's really important. Personally, I would say
that's really good advice.
Right.
No, that's really good advice. But in addition to that, Karen, I love the fact that we need to kind of, you know, mind shift into investing into our personal and professional growth. And going back to your earlier comment, Rebecca and colleagues, about the fact that, you know, oftentimes we spend a lot of time having to keep up to date with the latest evidence, with, you know, papers, reviewing other people's work as part of the peer review process, for example, and what we have to learn on the job, right? So I feel like we do a lot of unintentional professional development in our day-to-day lives. A lot of us do a lot of reading, a lot of us do a lot of other kind of activities. And I think what a course like this does is provide us with structure to our professional development endeavor, and that you feel that you're actually part of something that is well structured with specific outcomes that you will start and also you will complete, that you will feel like, I've actually done this and I've done it in a structured, systematic way to contribute to that professional development. And I think as the earlier we start, the better, because Clement, I can resonate with your comments that, you know, I didn't know much about professional development in my earlier, you know, early career years, and that it became part of our lives a lot later. And so I think it's so important for us, Rebecca, whether you're in pharmacy, practice, education, or science, that you really embrace this lifelong learning mindset really early on. So no, thanks for that, Karen. That's really quite insightful. Investing in our professional development, personal growth. What do you think, Rebecca?
No, I totally agree with that. And I think it's, especially as scientists, sometimes we get so passionate about our research that we kind of lose track of everything else. But it is so important to really try to safeguard some time for yourself. And I try to tell that to my colleagues that I see sometimes who are spending a lot of hours in the lab, and I'm telling them, you know, you need time away to also be more efficient, and part of that time away is reflection, and is to thinking about not just what you're doing right now, but what am I doing later, not just in your research, but in your career. And I also really agree with what you said, that because even I haven't participated in the program yet, but just listening to Karen talking about this program and the things that we've heard from Tabata and Raysan and Clement, there's all of these things when you start thinking about it that you have done that have been part of your professional development, but it hasn't been sort of officially part of a program. Yeah. But really having that structured way of looking at it can really help you to sort of pinpoint and highlight, well, these are the things that I already know and that can bring forward.
Exactly.
So that really resonates with me.
Exactly. Rebecca and Karen, we have a couple of questions, very good questions in the Q&A, and I might just sum them up because other participants can also learn from them. The first one is, does it really matter where you're based, in which country, which region, with regards to taking up the course? And I know, Karen, you attest that you can be based anywhere and take up the course because it's totally online and it's not country or context specific. It is specific to the field of pharmacy, whether it's science or practice. And I'll get you to comment on that in just a moment. But another one is about the special offer that Curriculo has at the moment for FIP members. And that is just to say that if you are an FIP member, you even get a discounted fee to enrolling into the course. But of course, you don't have to be an FIP member to enroll into the Curriculo course. Karen?
Thank you. So to go to the first point, it doesn't matter where you are. I think we are maybe including my new participant from Madagascar. I think we are now at 17 or 18 different countries, people coming from different countries. What we do is we work very hard to put the workshops on at a time that is suitable across the world. Sometimes that means we need to break it down. Sometimes it means we need to do one-to-ones and individuals to make the time work, but we will make that work with you. We will agree a schedule for those online workshops so that it works for everyone. We work pretty hard to do that. There's one other thing, if you don't mind me saying, going back to something that Rebecca was talking about earlier on, and you mentioned too, Dalia, you know, when we're talking about this whole idea, this notion about us investing in our training and committing to ourselves and our personal development. One of the things I omitted to mention earlier on in the presentation is that we did a huge mapping exercise. Before we got seal approval for this programme, we mapped the whole content of our programme to the FIP development goals. And Dalia, you mentioned that earlier on, and we can go quite specific into that. We also looked at the early career pharmaceutical group, and we looked at their career development tools in the toolkit, and we can demonstrate where we can make some impact and where there's synergy. And Rebecca, you and I were chatting the other day about some of the BPS pillars of collaboration and networking and leadership. And we know that we touch all of those points as well in this programme. So the relevance could not be firmer than it is at the minute. And finally, my last point, I promise, is that the programme actually makes taking control of your career easier for you in some respects. One of the things that you will finish, you will leave the programme with a career plan, with a work-based assignment based on your ambition, and a document that highlights your unique characteristics. So you can utilise those documents. And the other brilliant thing is, and hopefully Clement and the other guys will testify to this, is once you've been part of the programme, that's really where your journey with Curriculo starts, because you become part of our learning journey. Clement finished the programme 2 or 3 years ago, and we are still very much in touch. And I know and offer all participants of the programme access whenever they have any questions about their CV, any questions about leadership capability. They always have the opportunity to come and ask that question of us, and we will do as much as we can to help support.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Karen. Wonderful. Great. Okay. I'm just wondering if there are any final reflections from any of our guests in the panel today. Perhaps we can even go around the table, and maybe you can just give a couple of words to those that are listening in, who you think are at some point in their professional development journey. What would be your take-home message for them, if you like? Can we do that, Rebecca?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to start?
Perfect.
Right. So I think my take-home message would really be that this program really is for both pharmacists and pharmaceutical scientists. And as a learner and a scientist and a lifelong learner, it's really important to take charge of your career. And this is one way of doing that. So I think that would be my take-home message. I will, on my screen, the next person next to me is Tabata, so I will hand over to you to give us some reflections.
Thank you, Rebecca. I think I would just say, according to our discussions, time should not be a limitant. It's almost 11 p.m. here in Australia, and I'm so grateful for this program that I said, yes, Karen, I am going to participate. So Karen was quite flexible during my time in this program. I was in Brazil for holidays, and I was waking up at 4 a.m. to participate in our workshops. So if you have the chance, you should attend this program. It's worth it. What you learn in 12 weeks can really be life-changing. Sometimes we don't have 2 years to learn through ERO. So just take the opportunity and go for it. If you're ambitious, if you want more in your professional life, go for it. That's all I can say. Thank you all.
That's dedication for you. Well done, Tabata. Who's the next person on your screen, Tabata? Or Rebecca?
Under me, Raisin.
Raisin.
Thank you, Tabata. Of course, I would like to encourage everyone here to enroll in the Pharmacists for the Future program because this will help you in your future career, build your career plan, and of course, learn the basics and best practices in leadership. So Karen would help you with the online workshops that you will do with her. We'll also have the opportunity to collaborate with your colleagues in the same program. So of course, having said that, it will be a fruitful and meaningful journey with the Pharmacists for the Future program. So yeah, thank you, Karen, for the opportunity. And of course, I would like also to thank my colleagues, which I joined during the program.
Who do we have next? Raisin?
We can have, I think, Virginia.
Virginia, the mic is yours.
Thanks. So for my side, I think as I didn't do it, I didn't join it yet, I would definitely give it a try because I think that in this moment of my career during my postdoc, I need to think a little bit of what am I going to do next, what I want to do next, and have also a more global view of what I am as a scientist, as a person, and what are my yes and my no's, because I struggle a lot to say no, and I think that the program will be important for that. So for me, the take-home message is that you can join me in the next cohort.
Excellent.
Who's next for us, Virginia?
Clement.
Thank you. And then we'll move on to Sophia.
So as everyone already mentioned, I think it's a very important program to develop your professional skills, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. And Karen, even 2 years after having done this program, I'm still going back to my notes and reading through them, and it can still be applied in the future, even if you think you're not ready now. It's still useful to take the program now and then reuse what you learn in the future. Thank you. And so next is Zifei.
Hi, maybe I'm the lucky last. And previously, my experience of receiving such training was a bit random. For example, the university told us how to do presentations. They can train us for a little bit of skills of what approaches you may use in a conference if you ask for a question. And I didn't have the experience of a systemically well-designed structured training. That's why I'm now looking back and thinking maybe a structured systemic training would give this the training outcome even better. That's my assuming. I didn't had it, but I would really think that's a better way to do the training. But
Maybe you'll join Virginia in the next cohort. Who knows? Thank you, Saifei. I'm gonna give the word to Karen if you want to say a few more words before Dalia can close the session.
I'd just like to say thank you to all of you, all the panelists, Rebecca, to Dalia, to Hanadi for behind the scenes, for doing everything. I very much enjoy my partnership with FIP and the opportunity to bring programs like this to you. And believe it or not, I learn loads whilst delivering this program too, and I thoroughly enjoy it. This for me is about one simple way of collaborating and also developing strong networks. And let's face it, you know, we all need good, strong networks to help to support us, whether it's on the skills development side or whether it's on the career management side. And this is a fabulous way to do it and have a little bit of fun doing it. So I look forward to welcoming you onto the programme in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you so much, Rebecca, and thank you so much, colleagues, to all of you for being with us today. I'm delighted that we're able to have this conversation around a program that has been awarded the FIP Seal for its quality, but also for its alignment with advancing pharmacy worldwide. And whether you're in practice or science, I think we've learned today that we all need, no matter which sector we're in or which scope of practice we follow, we all need to self-reflect, to go on a self-discovery journey in our professional development and lifelong learning journeys as well. So thank you for the opportunity to learn more about your experiences. And thank you for the guidance provided by you, Karen, and for your leadership, Rebecca, as well. Wonderful, wonderful discussion that we've had today. And before I close and say goodbye to everybody on the call, may I please have my final slides there, Hanadi, just to support our participants in finding out more about how to enroll in the course. As a final remark, here we go. So on this slide, you're very welcome to scan the QR code. If you are an FIP member, you'll be taken advantage of a reduced fee to the course, and we would encourage you to become an FIP member to avail of this, but also an array of member benefits that you can learn more about by contacting us or visiting our website at fip.org. There's a lot that you can avail of in terms of professional development, but also access to resources, tools, and guidance documents. So I invite you to become a member, and I also invite you to consider enrolling in the wonderful PFP for your professional development. On the next slide. Thanks, Hanadi. You can find out more about our events, upcoming, but also watch previous ones on events.fip.org. Thank you. And for those of you that might be thinking of coming to the FIP World Congress, if you've not heard of it, we have an FIP World Congress in Cape Town in September this year. And we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible to join us on the 82nd FIP World Congress that is themed around innovating for the future of healthcare, which is a promising convention for all of us. And this just provides you with some of the program themes and main topics that will be addressed in the Congress. There are some early bird registrations. There are still time for an early bird registration. To avail of that, please do visit our website on capetown2024.fip.org. Thank you, Hanadi. Thank you so much, everyone, and good day or good night. Tabitha, good night to you. Anybody in Australia? Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, folks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.